Okay, so like I said, we're going to go through the letter, the calculations, the blueprint, and the invoice, and what you should have for all these things. So I'm going to need your attention for the next 10 minutes, and then we're going to go down to our classes, and you're going to have time to work. That means the sooner you're quiet, the sooner we can do this. Okay, perfect. Now, this format that we have up here right now, like people have been asking about the letter and stuff, like this is exactly what your letter should look like. Okay, so every single group is going to have a logo or your company name where the Chili's logo is up here. Okay? Then you're going to have the date. The date is not going to be written, well, next week will be the 10th, but it won't be 5, 10, 17. It needs to be May 10th, 2017. You will address it to Michael Scott. Why? He's the head of the business that you're going to be working for. Okay? You'll put your content in there, which is about 2 to 3 paragraphs. You'll put sincerely, or however you want to address it at the end, and then you're going to put each of your names. Okay, so you're going to put your name, your position, made up, obviously, and then the company, like, or your company that you're working for. The last thing that you need to do is make sure that you sign your names on the letter. Okay, so they need to be signed above your name. Don't wait till the last Wednesday and come and tell me your partner's not here. Like, you're turning it in on that Wednesday, or it's just going to be late. So you're going to lose points for the signature then. And that's just going to be the way it is. You got to get it signed ahead of time. Okay? Questions on this? Oh, sorry, one other thing. We have a change in a couple of the points on here. Okay? You're spending so much time working on the building and on your reaction festival and all that stuff that we're changing. We're making the candles. How many you put out worth 8 points instead of 4. So each candle that you put out is going to be worth 1 point. Okay, so that's the whole performance aspect of the project. Okay? Next. We have the calculations. Calculations, this is where the points came from for the candle. So we took 2 points out of each of the first 2 calculations. So now those are just worth 2 points each instead of 4. Okay, so you can change it if you want to, but they're not worth as many points. Another thing on here, number 13 says the calculation of amount of acid required. Or sorry, on yours it says sodium bicarbonate required. You need to write acid required there. So you want to know how much acid is required if you use a strong acid with a molarity of 12 molar. Okay. Now, some of you don't know how to do this yet. If you remember, if 1.25 molar equals 1.25 moles in 1 liter, what do you think 12 molar equals? All right, we'll think about it a little bit. You'll figure it out, okay? There you go. Perfect. I like it. Anyways, the other calculation that you're going to need for number 14 is a comparison between the speed of CO2 versus halon 1211. Okay, it gives you the formula on there, CF2ClBr. You need to do Graham's law of effusion. That's why I'm writing this on here for you right here. This is Graham's law of effusion. Okay, so we're going to do the velocity of A or B, taking the square root of the molar mass of B divided by the molar mass of A. Okay, and that's going to tell you how much faster it is. If you don't write this down right now, like this is your chance to be helped with this. Okay. Very last thing, your T-charts and things must be typed or neatly written. Do not write them on notebook paper. So when you turn this in, you're not going to have like a nice clean letter that's written on printer paper and then a loosely piece of paper with calculations on it behind it. This is going to look bad. Okay. So you need to have that on printer paper, or you need to do that on the computer and then print it out. Okay, I'm going to show you quickly how easy it is to do that. If we go here, this is on a Google Doc right now. Okay, we already punched numbers in. This is as easy as writing a table and punching your numbers in. It already looks kind of like a T-chart. Then all you got to do, highlight, click the arrow, which will just highlight the outside, and you can change it to white. So now it looks like a T-chart. Okay, so it's nice and clean for you. Okay, next, if you want to do it in Word, you can do it literally the exact same way. Go to borders and shading, get rid of the sides and the top, and then you have a T-chart. Okay, so That's an easy way for you to do those calculations in a nice, clean way, okay? Next, your invoice. I know that we shared that invoice with you. That's so you can keep a running total of your invoice and stuff. It's for you for reference. When you turn your actual invoice in, it needs to be written out, or typed out, sorry, nice and neat and clean. So you can do the same thing. What I would do is literally make a table in Google Docs or Word. Make one column item, next column cost, next column quantity, next column total cost. It literally should be like this: item cost, quantity, total cost. Like, write that down somewhere if you need to remember that. Okay. You're gonna go through. Everything that's on your project should be on this invoice. So if I look at your project and you have little toy cars in there, toy cars, 6. How much they cost? $0 because we didn't give them to you. Okay. If you have like wallpaper or like whatever, scrapbook paper for your wallpaper inside your building, I don't really know, but you're not going to sit there and like measure it out and tell us how much you have. Like wallpaper, just write you have one of it, but it needs to be on your document. Okay. Does that make sense, everyone? There's like miscellaneous decorations, just write that on there. Okay. Other things that you can't really quantify. Okay. Perfect. Next thing, your blueprint. You might want to write this down, like some of the items that must be in your blueprint, because it really just says key components on your rubric. But it says that you must include your building dimensions. You need to include the acid and the solid locations. You need to have the tubing and the pipes, and you need to have like labels for the delivery system. So what is happening in the delivery system? Because they're going to need to know that stuff in the blueprint. Okay. Now, when you draw your blueprints out, you can either do it on a computer. If you're going to do it by hand, it better be really nice and neat and clean. And obviously, once again, not on loose leaf paper. Okay. I made these two on the computer using Google Draw in probably like 5 minutes. So this would be my side view. This would be my aerial view. And obviously, they're not finished yet, but this would be a pretty good start for these already. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can actually do those as well. Nope. Went onto Google, and I went on Google and I searched for bottles, searched for valves. I put a transparent background, and then I added them onto the drawing. Okay, and so you can do that like that as well. So if you look here, I'm going to go to. It doesn't have to look like that. It said it can look like that. So you can go to Google Draw. So how I just import those pictures by copying and pasting them. Okay, so I just, in Google you can filter so there's a transparent background, and then you can just add them onto the drawing like that. But to get the shapes and stuff on there, I just went to shapes in Google Draw, and one of them is a cube. So there we go, I got a building already. I can get rid of that color in there so it's white. It's pretty easy to make windows as well because you can make squares on here. So there's one window, and then we can just copy. But I just want to show you like really how easy it is to even get like a base template down here. Okay, so I'm not going to work on this very long. Now I got basically my building already. And then if I wanted to, they have cylinders as well, so I could make, mine has bottles, I can make a generic reaction vessel just like this. We can add tubes and piping the exact same way, so I can make long, thin ones just like this, turn them. And I'm already starting to have a nice little building going here, and then obviously you can type on here as well, so I could add my dimensions, 30 centimeters, drag that up, and lines to show that there's this whole distance here. So you can see like it's pretty slick. And then you can also do like, if you're going to look at a top or aerial view, you know, you could stretch it out. There's the top of your building. You can make the rooms relatively easily by just making connectors like that, and then one, two, and then 3, 4, or whatever. Obviously it's not great right now, but you know, I'm just kind of flying through this, and then there'd be the top of my reaction vessel or whatever. Okay, so kind of showing you how you could do this pretty easily on Google Draw. Now, I mean, obviously mine's not done yet on here, but you know, it's a pretty good start in about, I don't know, a minute and a half, or however long it just took me to do that. Okay, so you can do it other ways as well. You don't have to do it like that, but I want to give you some options. Last thing on here, or second to last thing, sorry, we changed the points for your building, so your building, rather than being worth 10 points, is worth 20. Actually, so each of these is worth 10 points, and that's because you guys are spending a lot of time working pretty hard on your buildings and your reaction vessels and all that stuff, and we thought that you deserved to earn a few more points than, like, honestly, like 5 points, and you're working on it for, like, I don't know, the better part of a week. It would seem like not enough. So we changed it from 5 to 10 for each of those. Your new project total is 60 points. It's literally worth like 3 of our lab class. Okay, so if you do really well in this, it's gonna really bolster your grade a lot. So keep that in mind when you're working on these today. Okay, last thing, a couple miscellaneous things. Your journal and your invoice, they need to be updated throughout the entire project. So you need to continue to work on them through next Wednesday. Okay, so next Wednesday is when you're going to hand the letter, the calculations, the blueprint, all that stuff in, and then next Monday is the day that we're going to be actually testing the fire suppression systems, but you should keep your journal going through that Wednesday. Last thing on here, all 4 of your pages of your documents should have a consistent, similar feel. So if, I don't know, Mackenzie and JC are partners, I shouldn't be able to tell that, like, Mackenzie did 2 pages and JC did the other 2 pages. Does that make sense? Like, they shouldn't look different at all. They should look like one person or one company did the whole thing. It should look seamless. Okay, so whether or not that's with a logo on top of each page as a header, or however you're going to do that, but some way that they all look and feel the same. Okay? And that goes along with the no loosey paper and all that stuff as well. Yes. 2 to 3 for the paragraph. Okay, does anybody else have questions? Yep. Awesome. We are going to go down to mine and Mr. Gussie's rooms right now.